Well, good afternoon. What is it? It's Tuesday, and that means it's Soultiful. Guess what we're talking about today? I bet you're wondering, especially in this day and time, how to stand out in a saturated market. Pull up your chair, grab a cup of coffee and a little notebook, and let's find out. Welcome to Soultiful. Oh, maybe they forgot about me. Wait, our music is coming. They haven't forgot about me.
Hi, and welcome to Soultiful.
There is never a dull moment.
That was my bad. You know how the overlay, we have an overlay looks the same as the video? So I kept trying to click the overlay over and over again. My bad. My bad, Soultiful soldiers.
That's all right. Jennifer, we so sorry. Did I tell you I might have to be like,
I already know I'm going to have fun during this conversation. So we're already having a good time.
Welcome, everyone. It's another great episode of Soultiful, and today we are joined by Jennifer Nagel, but we're going to get to Jennifer and all the good stuff that she has to bring to us. I am Janet.
Toya. And the bird.
And I'm Jennifer.
And today we are talking about how to stand out in a saturated market. But we must start with our favorite segment, what you working on. So Toya, what you working on?
All right, so I've been actually working today, Janet. I mean, I had client calls. I'm preparing for a live recording to be doing that I'm going to do soon after this. So I've been disconnecting, working with my clients, and my kids broke my phone, so I was trying to find out if I can get a new phone today. So that's what I've been working on, sis. What about yourself? What you been working on?
I mean, the kids broke the phone. That means they don't get to eat. I mean, we have to take, a phone is like $700, $800. We have to take away their allowance, their food. We might let them stay in the house. They don't get no water. They don't get nothing because you gotta save up that $700, $800.
So you thought it had an iPhone? You thought it had an iPhone? No, ma'am. Android all the way. And I'm the $100 or less Android user. Thank you.
That's why we could never reach you. Your phone don't work. Anyway, hi. Over here, what I have been working on is I've been doing some client calls for one of my clients. In addition, I've been doing some emails for another client, and then I'm scheduling some bookings and some networking. So that's what I did today in regards to what I've been working on. It's been a little bit of a busy day. And I have the house to myself because my grandbaby and my daughter left. But she could have left my grandbaby, but anyway, let me not say. Jennifer, what you was working on today?
I've got a few things going myself. So next week I have to go to Austin, Texas for a business retreat. So I was just kind of taking care of some travel arrangements so I can get to the airport and back and do some co-working with some friends down in Austin. And then the other thing is I'm doing a training on a very similar topic as to what we're talking about today with my friends group, a group of people who are doing PR. I'm talking about branding and how to stand out and lead generation. So I'm just working on putting together that lesson and that training for them.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, I just want to say, Jennifer, I love your hair. I mean, because you can see that I am a natural girl. Girl, and I just want to be like, all right.
Let's do a close up on that.
Yeah.
You know what? The funny thing is I have had such a hard time with my hair. I love my hair and I love it natural, but it is really thick. And so every time and I'm not good with the whole YouTube video and twists and braids. I've tried that. And, everybody talks about, no, use these products, use these products. And, pandemic, I can't get in to see my normal hair person as often as I want. So my husband's like, I love your natural hair. So I'm like, all right, I'm just letting it fly today. So
I love that. I love that hubby said that too.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Yeah.
let me tell you what you do. Do you have some rods?
Yes.
Baby, just go in there, wash it, condition it, ride it up. See, this is I get. Okay. Maybe I'm a little tall for the camera, but this is what it come out like, and you just go from there, girl. It's natural. You supposed to.
Everybody says, "Oh, it's so easy," but see, I've done.
Well, no, I didn't say that part.
Oh,
I didn't say it was easy. I said it's natural. Just let it go where it go. I never said nothing about easy because for me, my hair is thick, and it takes about. And if I don't go to the beauty parlor per se, it takes about 3 hours to dry.
Yeah.
Now, if I go to the beauty parlor, I can get it done in an hour and a half. So it ain't easy. And my hair it's not dry, but because it gets it can transition into the curly state. It goes from dry to moist because of that transition.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes you look at my hair and be like, she don't have no oil, but it's just in that state. So it look really dry. And by the time I get home, it's oily. So
that's how this is. I mean, it's soft right now, but sometimes I feel like it just looks like it needs some love and like some hydration. So, whenever my hairstylist does it, of course, I look like $1 million, but
well, just look like 500,000 right now.
All right, good. All right, I'll take that.
Hubby
as
said,
long as I don't look like $4.99, we're good.
Yeah. Hubby said that you're fine.
So, he loves me.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's what I'm saying. All right. So that's what we've all been working on. And so let me get to tell you a little bit about this lovely Jennifer, who we have in front of us today, and all the information that she is going to share with us. Jennifer Nagel is a business coach and CEO of Figured Out Fitness, and help fitness and nutrition coaches shape up their systems to build and scale their business to 6 figures. I wish you could help me get down to a 3. Never mind. I was thinking about that 32, 34, 36.
I got you, Janet. We can talk about that later.
Jennifer left her 15-year career in higher education operations to build her own 6-figure high-ticket fitness coaching for business for women over 30. Her growth and success was due to the mastering and simple systems and focusing on the ideal client. Through her signature 7 systems coaching method, she's here to help you simplify, stand out, and scale up in the online space without adding to your already stressful day. Let's welcome the phenomenal Jennifer Nagel. And she's been featured in Pop Sugar Fitness, My Fitness, Thrive Global Medium, and other resources. Yay!
How exciting. Lovely. Wonderful.
Jennifer, tell me how to stand out, because I ain't got 32, 34, 36, but I got 32, 34, 36 up here. Tell me how to stand out.
That's right. Well, first, let me give you some background, because I still run the fitness coaching side of my business, but it's great because using my systematic approach, I barely spent any time in my business. So it's allowed me to start doing some other things, which I love, which is helping other fitness pros and other online business owners get started. So the whole secret to my success was literally like, I'm a nerd about systems. So I like having okay, there's a system for this, there's a system for that. And I like just breaking things down into steps. Now, I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear that, but I think they chose this moment to start mowing my lawn. This guy's been driving by my window. Anyway, so I started off as a fitness coach. So all of these things, I've had tons of trial and error. So the 7 systems I talk about, and then I'm going to hone in on one of those systems to really help you stand out, are planning, branding, lead generation, sales, onboarding, program delivery and offboarding. So I primarily work with online coaches. So that whole systematic approach to getting clients, first of all, that's going to help you stand out because most people have no clue what they're doing. And the second thing is anytime you can like break down any one of these systems and tailor it to you, it really just helps you come across as a professional. So in the branding system, that's where you really get a chance to stand out. And in my opinion, the way I define branding is coming to the table and being really clear about who you are, what you stand for, being an authority in your space so that people know you, they like you, they trust you, and they're ready to go into that next step with you. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make is like, okay, I'm starting an online business or I'm starting a business and I'm going to get on social media, and they look to see what everybody else is doing. And then they start regurgitating or reposting or doing something just like the person they saw next to them, which I think is the worst thing that you can do. In fitness, especially, I think it's like everybody and their mom and them are fitness coaches these days, right? But it's really important to do three things when you're branding. And the first thing is to take a stance. And I always tell people, do not be afraid to be polarizing because sorry, this lawnmower. Don't be afraid to be polarizing because you want to have a very specific thing that you're about. So people know when they come to Jennifer, they know I am definitely about protein, lifting weights, and being fast, because I work with professional women over 30 who, don't have a lot of time. So I stand for something. I'm also really clear on what I don't stand for. Now you can do this without being a jerk. But I don't really support ketogenic diets for most of the population. So I'll say that. I don't necessarily support intuitive eating for most people in the beginning of their fitness stage. So I will say that. Now, the people who love keto or who love intuitive eating will be like, girl, I don't know why you believe, but people know exactly who I am as a coach, and therefore I don't look like anyone else. So that's step one. Step number two, I made this mistake so early in my online fitness career. I only showed the exercise part. So I'm like, I'm a fitness coach. I want you to see me as a fitness coach. So you saw pictures of me in the gym, and you saw me lifting weights, and you saw me at a photo shoot. You saw me doing this. And it's great, except then I wasn't human. I wasn't relatable. So one of my good friends gave me some feedback. They're like, Jennifer, this is a little intimidating for most people. They don't think they can do what you do because all you're showing is the parts of you that are lifting and working out. And a lot of people don't see that as attainable or realistic. So the second thing is you got to show your whole self, your human self, because people are not just interested in a brand. They're interested in a person. This is the developing that like factor. So it was interesting because I'm like, all right, well, I showed some pictures of me doing dumb stuff with my kids, pictures of my dog licking my face, pictures of me and my husband on our anniversary. And I was also vulnerable. So there was a period of time where I had an illness. So I talked about the illness. I talked about being frustrated because I had to sit on the couch all day and going to the doctor. And then people could start to relate to me as a human. So not only did they know what I stood for, but they knew I was a real person with real challenges just like them. And then the third piece is to let your uniqueness shine, like let that go. So one of the things, though, this will be funny because we were just talking about hair. So I used to wear like weave or really work on straightening my hair all the time because I thought that's how I had to show up online to look professional, especially in fitness. I'm in my 40s, and a lot of the people that who are my competitors are 20s, 30s, they're cute little young things, whatever. And they're wearing their little crop tops and have their little booty shots and stuff like that. And so I thought in order for me to hang with those people, I had to do the same thing. So I'd straighten my hair. I'd make sure I had the cutest outfit. I would never get online without makeup. And again, that wasn't me. And when you're not being yourself, it shows. And so one of the things that I started doing, I'm like, you know what? I have big natural hair. I'm going to be rocking my afro. I'm not going to wear makeup all the time because I have 3 kids. I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to use the language that I would normally use. I'm going to make references to 90s hip hop and R&B because that's what I like. And then so I start to really attract the people who totally get that. So I took a stand. I told people what I was about. I told them what I wasn't about. I let them see me as a whole person. And then I let them see my unique features. And that's how I started to stand out. So then people would contact me and just share little private jokes. Like I have this great conversation on Instagram going with this woman who she and I both talked about our love for feta cheese out of all the crazy things in the world. I put hashtag natural hair on some of my stuff. I, talk about my big fro. And those are the types of things that start to endear you to your audience. People will start to really remember you. They will like you and they will trust you because they know who you are.
So Janet, let me just say, I love when these folks come on here and talk stuff that I talk because it makes me feel like I'm smart. She said, know, like, and trust. And that's what I preach all the time. Jennifer, thank you so much. Like, people they connect with people like them. They take something and, okay. And that makes them want to connect. And then eventually when they're ready, want to buy from you if you have something that they want.
Absolutely.
So amen to what you said.
Yeah, and that's that. And there are systems to make sure you're showing up consistently, so you do build that know, like, and trust factor. So I call it a 1 + 2 + 2 + 1 branding system, and we can talk about that later. But I know Janet was getting ready to say something. Plus this lawnmower guy. I swear my lawn is not that big in the front. I think they do this all the time. It doesn't matter if I'm recording something or I'm doing a podcast. All of a sudden, someone wants to mow the lawn.
Look, these things, one of the running jokes about Soultiful is that we sometimes have too many technical problems. So if you didn't have the lawn mown, we think, oh, we got by this week. Hey, it is okay. It is. So, okay, first I wanted to make sure that I got what the 7 steps were. So they were planning, branding, onboarding, sales, and offboarding. I think I'm missing 2 here.
Yeah, planning, branding, lead generation,
okay.
Sales, onboarding, program delivery, and offboarding. Awesome. And a lot of people, especially those last 3, they think once they sell, they're like, oh, no problem. But there are 3 really big steps after that to make sure that your client is happy and they refer you or that you have a client for life. So it's all these small things. And 7 sounds like a lot of systems. When you break it all down, it's like, oh, it's like butter, from beginning to end and the flow. And I'm experiencing that right now as a fitness coach because I have all these systems in place. I've automated a lot of these things. So once I get a client I have maybe 1 or 2 touch points in the entire process. And I'm getting money in the bank. The client is happy. They're getting all the right communication, and then we go. So anyway, that's why I love a systems approach because it really does free up your time.
I forgot I pressed mute. Okay, so with that being said, one of the things I want you to, maybe I'm being a little, but break down what that lead generation is. That lead generation is you're connecting with others or networking, or is that lead generation that you're having more fluent conversation with the potential client?
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of both. So once you really do the branding system and establish your identity and who you are, you still have a step before you get into a sales process where you're actually getting people into your community. So I always say it starts off with a lead generation call to action. So maybe you're on a podcast as a guest, or maybe you have created a social media post with certain hashtags, or you've done a training in a group. You invite those people to then come into your community. And that could be like getting them on your email list. It could be in a Facebook group, etc. And from that point, that's when you cultivate them as a lead. That's when they really get to understand what does it look like or feel like to work with you. So I always say, start with a call to action. So I'm on Soultiful today. So if anybody's listening to this and they're an online business owner, I'm going to invite them to download a free training that I love to give people to help them get started. And at that point, I'll collect their contact information. And so I have that available. And I always say collect real emails or phone numbers. Being someone on your social media page is not a lead. You do not own Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest or YouTube. So if I've been in Facebook jail before, and if they didn't let me out of jail, I would have never been able to capture all those people who followed me. So I always look to capture email addresses. And now with technology, I know a lot of people are capturing phone numbers for text message communication as well. So you capture that information. And then I'm all about what I call give them instant gratification. Because if someone has heard you or they've seen you or they resonate with you enough to hand over their email address, then you give them something to get them going on their journey with you right away. So a training or a video series or something really helpful that helps them take the first step and understand what it might be like to work with you. Some people will do things like having an email, a series of emails, what they call a nurture series to get to know you. But you're doing all of these things so they get to know you a little bit more and take that first step in their journey with you. So then you can invite them into your sales system, into your sales process. So that's what I mean by lead generation.
So everything is more or less one. If the flow starts right with your planning, it should lead you into each next step that you. And so in regards to, because I know I'm just talking for myself. Toya might be wonderful at certain things, but sales. That is a very I don't want to sound like I'm pushing you or I'm begging you for your money. How does the branding tie into the sales that it doesn't make you seem like you're hungry for it? I don't know how to explain it to you.
Yeah, no, I totally understand the question. And first, let me just say, Janet, sales for most people is the hardest part because we have all had a bad sales experience. And you remember that. You remember that person, you're like, look, I am not interested in your, microwave oven, or I'm not trying to buy this, or no. But what we don't really know is we buy stuff all the time. And those are good sales experiences. And the reason they are good is because you've established the know, like, and trust factor. So think about the last lipstick or lip gloss you bought. There's a brand, like if you go to MAC Cosmetics or if you have Elizabeth Art, whatever it is, the brand, what they're about, what they're going to deliver to you. And maybe they sent you a coupon and you got a coupon and they sent you some cool emails and say, hey, look at our spring color line. And you went in and bought. That's an example of branding, lead generation, and sales. And in your business, it's the same thing. By the time if you've done this correctly, I find by the time that someone gets to the sales process, they're already in the mood to buy. So the sales process is not about convincing. It's about helping people understand that you have a solution to the challenge or problem or the service that they need. And so I always tell people, for a long time in my business, I did sales calls and I closed my sales calls at about 80% because by the time they got on the phone with me, they'd already had multiple touch points in my lead generation system. And by the time we got to the sales call, it was almost like a formality and I was just waiting to get their credit card. So, I think if you do your job and you have a strong branding system, you're showing up consistently, people know who you are, they know, like, and trust you, you take them through a process so they can feel what it might be like to work with you and in your lead generation and nurturing system. By the time you get to the sales process, that should be one of the simplest steps you have. You don't need to sell them anything. You're just giving them an option and inviting them to work with you.
Okay. I have to rethink. I may have to rethink it. Okay, that was some meat right there. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's truly. This is something I've been learning, Jennifer, over the years. So thank you for sharing that. Because by the time they get to buy, you've already loved on them. And it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to work with you. So that's right. That is right. Awesomeness.
Yeah, and by that, Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Thank you.
I was
ahead,
going to
sis.
say the branding helps you attract the right person. The right person is going to resonate and they're going to opt in your lead generation if you are talking about the things that they're interested in. So, for example, right now, the way that I do my sales is I offer a free masterclass. This is for my the fitness coaching side of my business. I offer a free masterclass. And by that time, they know all about me. I've invited them. And in that masterclass, I give them so much goodness. They could walk away from that masterclass and start a fitness journey of their own without me. And at the end of the masterclass, I'm like, hey, you can do this on your own or let me help you. And they're like, okay. And then they're like, let me help you. And then they go to the sales page and sign up. So you're right. People you need to be clear about who you are from the beginning, from the very first step. And by the time you get to the sales, that's almost like middle end of the whole process. And I think sometimes people forget that, or they feel like showing up online is just this thing we need to do to get to sales. And that's not necessarily the case.
See, so let me tell you how, let's just get down to the real nitty gritty.
Down to it.
That's how I felt because I was showing up online, but then I was like, oh my God, I'm not I'm an executor. Now I love to work, but I am not a big social media fan. Yeah. So I have dropped off of social media for about a year. Even when I worked in the entertainment industry, I may post pictures of me, doing something, but I'm not this person that, every minute you see me. No, I'm not her at all. I'm not her. One, because I ain't always glammed up. So that's first of all. Second of all, you never know what my hair may look like because I'm natural. And I'll just be like, oh, look at you and your nice long hair. No. And then third of all, I'm kind of a little bit of, I'm very protective of the people that I put on. So so when I got into this business and I was like, oh God, social media. I like handling social media, but I don't like posting of me. So I had taken a long break. However, I've decided that I'm going to come back and I'm just going to be me. So today, if you get me like this with the chapped lips and the sweater, because my children like to freeze my house, then you're going to get the chap. Now, tomorrow, I might be glammed up and dolled up.
But see, Jen, I'm telling you, if I saw
you might see me by my nose. You just going to get what you going to get, but you're going to know that it's Jen. I'm not trying to be pretentious.
Right.
I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Now, I am crazy. Don't get. I wear short skirts. I drink alcohol, and I'm a Christian. Yes, I do all of that. But you'll get all of that out of me. But it's just not going to be the way you think it's supposed to be presented.
Yeah. And first, let me say, Janet, those are the things that would endear me to looking at your account. Because you're talking about chapped lips and ashy elbows and natural hair. I would be like, yes, this is my soulmate woman. And the other thing I want to point out is we always think about social media because that's what every business coach will tell you to do. And yes, social media is a great tool, but I don't like social media either. And so most of my I always say it's about getting other eyes on your business. And there's so many ways to do that. So you have a video cast, you have a podcast or video show. That's definitely a way. Guesting on other people's show is a way. Doing trainings for people. I do a lot of speaking at virtual events. I want to start now, hopefully, if we can get past this COVID, get at least under control, speaking at live events. And I do best with that. And then the social media is just a place where I can send people, or it's another place to connect with me, but that's just not, if I'm being honest, it's like, I love stuff like this where I can have conversation and interaction because I love those genuine connections. But when I do show up on social media, you're going to get me, and some days I have cute hair, some days it's braided down, some days, some days
I'm a big
crumbs on my shirt.
I'm a big advocate of customer service. So I can talk about customer service till your pants fall off. But so those are the things that, as when you were mentioning speaking, oh my gosh, I love talking about customer service and having warm, endearing, it's true. The first moment either someone lays eyes on you or speak to you, that is the first impression. Do not let no one tell you whether they see you or whether they talk to you. If you call someone's phone and you say, "Oh, I," that is the first impression. Because first of all, they think you're not sincere about who you're calling.
Mhm.
Or if they see you and you roll your eyes by accident, you might have something, but you roll your eye, that could be a first impression. So I am a big advocate about first impressions and customer service, because that's really what propels your business. If you don't have good customer service, your business is just out the window.
I agree. And so maybe I can have you as a guest speaker in my group to when we talk about onboarding and program delivery and offboarding, because that's exactly what I talk about. Onboarding, those first 3 days, once you take someone's credit card, like, you have to remember what state of mind they're in. They're excited and they're nervous because they've made an investment in you. And especially I tend to work with people who have higher ticket offers or offers over $1,000, that, someone's paying their hard-earned money to you, and you better right off the bat give them help them feel really happy and safe and confident in their purchase decision. So what I see with a lot of coaches, unfortunately, they're so excited to get the sale, and then they don't give anybody directions on what to do next. So these people are like, okay, I just gave you $1,200. What do I do now? Nobody's sending me anything for 3 or 4 days. Goes there. Hey, ladies. Hi,
yeah, because that might make me think you ran off with my credit card information. Right. You should have some type of something to say. I'm Mama Dorsey, something to say. We'll respond to you within 2 days after, because maybe there's a process on your side. You Absolutely. Run the credit card. You want to make sure that the payment has gone through. So even if you just say, thank you, Miss Nagel, we received your payment. We are processing it. Give us 24 to 48 hours Absolutely. To make sure the payment is complete. And then we will turn back over your credit, or however the information goes back. But at least you've made them acknowledge that, okay, they received it. They're just waiting for their process on it. It's just like when you go to the store. What happens? You go, they scan the groceries. They tell you, how would you like to pay? You insert the card. Don't you wait. You got to wait. Then if you're going to put credit or whatever, and then you got to wait again. And then it tells you, okay, process complete. And they say, thank you. Here's your receipt. Have a nice day. So you have to explain to them the in-betweens of what is going on.
Absolutely. And that's the system part. And that's what I tell people. It's like, whatever your system is, just have one, have it documented so that you can do it the same way every single time for consistency. And then if you document it, you can automate it. And so you can have an automatic email that goes out that says, hey, thank you. I'm so excited to have you as part of my community business, whatever. Here's what's going to happen next. First step, you'll do this. Second step, do this. Look for this email. Add me to your safe senders, whatever those instructions are. And so when I talk about a systems approach, everyone thinks like, oh, I know what to do. And yeah, they do know what to do, but they don't always do it consistently. And so having something written down, having a process for things. And then when you have a process, you can look at ways to make the process better or automate it so that literally with one click of a button, I have things that start going off to my customer and getting them enrolled, and they have something to do immediately. So they feel like, oh my gosh, I'm so well taken care of. Look, she's so on the ball. I have my instructions. I know what to do. My coach is calling me tomorrow, and bam, I'm ready to go. And that's the impression that you want to give them within that first 1 to 3 days of working with you.
So about how many emails, because let's be honest, we are in this time of COVID, and many of us are not coming to your house to knock on your door, or you're not coming to our offices. About how many emails do you think is emails within a process? I mean, depending upon how detailed your process may be, you might have how many emails do you think would be beyond a process?
Yeah, I work online, so I never see people. Nobody ever. I mean, there are people I've never met in person ever who've been my clients for years. it depends. And I hate saying that because that's not a definitive answer. But I think the key is having your system. I usually like to think about what I would like to receive or and keeping things really, really simple. So for example, I had an old way of doing things where someone would get 3 emails right in a row. And what I noticed after that process was going, and I would ask my clients, so like, how did your onboarding go? They'd be like, I was kind of confused and I wasn't sure about this. I get a lot of questions. And so I'm like, okay, I have to figure out a way to simplify this. So some of the things I'm like, all right, I'm asking my client to do this, but is there a way I can do that on their behalf or automate this piece? And so now I send one email right after to confirm and give them next steps. And then in a couple of days, I'll send another email just to make sure they're actually able to do it. Because, you know, with email, it may go to spam or people may just miss it, or they had 700 other emails that day and they scanned it. So I usually send one email, 3 bullet points. This is what you need to do next. Everything else that has to be done is automated on my end. And then a few days later, I'll send them a, hey, just want to make sure you got set up okay. And then the rest of the communication, I have a fitness app that I deliver my fitness programs through. So it's automated in the app, or it takes place with the person's individual coach.
Okay. All right. That's something, because I'm as a virtual professional, you know, we send a lot of emails.
Yeah.
And sometimes our initial interaction with a potential client is through Facebook Messenger. So first of all, we may have that first initial, you know, referral email. Hi, remember me? We spoke, yada, 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 yada. And then from there, you know, depending upon the conversation that you had in that DM or that messenger, you might send them your portfolio, or you might be ready to send them your intake. And then once you send them from that, then you have the discovery call. If the discovery call works out, then they get another email, which is the proposal and contract and invoice all in, or proposal and invoice and contract. And then from there, you may begin your onboarding. However, if you're a little bit more, maybe there's something else that you might be doing that you might need to send in regards to passwords and et cetera, et cetera. So there might be a couple more emails in your process. Or, you know, if you're a person that sends your proposal and then you wait for them to accept, because it could be any one of the 3 proposals, and then you send them the contract. So depending upon what you have in your flow, you know, you could end up doing 10, 15 emails just to get a client situated. So that's why I asked how much is...
You could. And, you know, my thing is, when I work with other coaches, everybody's business is unique. Everybody will have different steps in their process. But what I would challenge you with actually is to write down all those steps and look at them and see, is there anything I can combine that might make my process more efficient or make it easier on my client? So for example, when I first started off with fitness coaching, I would have to tell people, okay, do this, 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 and this. But then I'm like, what if I just put together an orientation packet that gave them all the information right there? It would take a little bit more time, but I could basically create a single orientation packet, and it would give them the first 5 things that they needed to know. You know, so that's what I would say. If you think that, if you have a feeling that, oh my gosh, I'm bombarding my client with email, or I feel like I can do this better, or somewhere the process kind of breaks down at this step, lay it out and then look through it. Have a friend or someone who's less familiar with your business to go through and just, you know, role play and see, okay, what would happen if this, and what would you do next? And then start to really look at that system and decide, how can I make this better? When you work systems, you always try something, and then you always ask yourself, is it working, or how can I make it better? And what I found was, when I started really laying out my steps and asking the question, is it working? Sometimes I'd be like, ooh, no. And so then it's like, all right, how can I make it better? And then I could brainstorm, or me and my team could brainstorm solutions and innovate and make processes a lot easier and faster and better for our clients.
Okay, great. I am a little bit over caring maybe. I am the email queen. I don't like junk email you, but I just like to have everything all explained out, make sure you fully understand. So I will definitely take that into, because I did have like multiple emails at one time, and then I was able to cut those down. So I'm still learning as I'm growing how to cut down the email, but I can explain things like your two at the kindergarten class. But that's just my way of giving efficient customer service, because I just want to make sure that nothing runs by you, or nothing you could never say, oh, I didn't know. I wanted to make sure that everything is, now I do, put them in different categories and explain them, but I just want, but then as we're growing now, we're learning that people's attention span is only but that fast. Right. So it's just one, and I'm in the entertainment field. So you have to make sure people fully understand what they're getting themselves in, especially when it comes to contracts and proposals. So.
Yes. And I think that's great, because my thing is, whenever I'm working with a business owner, they know their business, they know their industry the best, they know their clients the best, because every one of us has different target clients. So if this is when I was asking my clients, there were a bunch of very busy working women. They didn't want email. They're like, just tell me what to do, or just give me whatever. So I'm like, okay. And so that's the beauty of writing down your system and asking those questions. Is this working? You can ask your clients via a survey. You can see how many questions you get back. Like when you send something out, do people ask you 10, 12 more questions because they didn't understand? And then you can make improvements, or it just validates that what you're doing is fine. So I would never say something like, oh, your system is bad. I would say, hey, do you know what is your system and how do you know it's working? And then you can decide whether it's working or not. Use data to decide whether it's working or not.
I think that's a great point, to do testing and get data. The best way to get the data is talk directly to your clients, talk to your people. My partner, she wants us to start using type forms. And type forms, there's a cost to using type forms. I think we can use the forms we already have. And so the way we saw that, we're going to do some A/B testing. We're going to see what the client likes and see if it's worth, so that's good. Thanks for bringing that up, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Oh, you're muted, sis.
Yeah, I know. Type forms is another. I'm not familiar with that. That would be in like something like Google Forms.
Yeah, it's just more like there's a conditional logic that's attached to it. So so how Jennifer's talking about processes where you don't have a whole lot of touches. My partner feels like if we use the type forms, we can literally get all the information that we need without having to be prepared to have all the information we need, and not have to go a lot of back and forth. So with that being said, Jennifer, what is one of your favorite automation tools?
Zapier, easy.
Really?
For real?
Yeah. Why?
I'm sorry.
It connects everything.
I have a feeling somebody doesn't like it.
No. We're just Dubsado fans over here. But
okay. Well, maybe this is why, because in my fitness app, there are a lot of programs that already connect. So first of all, I'm already a fan of programs that already have natural and native integrations. So if you come through here, I can connect my active campaign. So I know if someone purchases something, you're going to email. But the reason I like Zapier is when things are not connected, Zapier basically connected. So I love easy if-then statements. I love the multi-step integration. So I use a lot of different programs because there are a lot of great all-in-one systems, but in my business, the all-in-one systems didn't work, or they didn't have enough features. So I wanted to use the email from my active campaign. I wanted to use the payment system from Thrivecart. My program delivery comes through Trainerize, which is a fitness app for fitness professionals.
I love Trainerize.
Oh, good. Yeah. But I don't want my customer to have to go to 1,200 places. So as soon as they click buy, I use Zapier to integrate member vault because I sometimes give them like e-courses that support their journey. They're automatically added to my Trainerize and we get a notification that we have a new client. They automatically get a receipt from, Stripe or PayPal or whatever. So Zapier is just, and they get the email. So it's all integrated. So I like it because when all else fails, get a Zap going and it'll connect it.
All right. Yeah, I've heard. It is all, look, you have to use what is, once again, you have to use what is best for you
Absolutely.
and your clients. Your process, your planning, your branding has to work what is best for you and your client, because you have to be able to execute it, but your client has to receive it in a way that they don't feel that they are bombarded. So,
Absolutely.
and that is why they make so many different of these platforms, because they know. And right now, with the way that, due to COVID, the famous 3 words, right now with the way that the online space is becoming so needed and so used, everything is steadily changing to keep up, because now corporate America is like, I don't know if I'm going to have them back in my office. I may have to go to different type of platform, or we cannot use the regular phone. We might have to use a Vox or whatever the system. Everybody is changing. So you have to find the one that executes for you and your business.
Absolutely. And we all have preferences too. I mean, I remember having a discussion about Trello versus ClickUp versus Monday versus Asana. And I'm like, it's kind of like, what's your favorite food? Everybody's going to have their thing. But the great thing is, and you mentioned this, Janet, there's so many more options now. And, COVID has been really rough. And obviously the health and the economic impact has been devastating. But the one thing I can say, the one positive outcome is that the learning curve for online apps and online resources has been really condensed, because earlier in my career, pre-COVID, I would have to explain to someone how to use, my Figured Out Fitness app, which is hosted on Trainerize, and what that would even be like. Now, most people are like, oh yeah, of course, an app, because everyone's used to that now. So although COVID has been really rough and difficult, the one thing I can say is that it has really helped propel the online business world and online business tools to rapidly. So we have so many more options. They're so much better than they used to be. And it's been a really great process for me tool-wise, because there's just so many more options and they're so good.
Great. Well, looks like we've had another dynamic show on Soultiful. I mean, we keep coming with them. Thank you all for always continuous coming back and to listen and share and make your suggestions. We love suggestions. So, hey, don't forget, go by our Facebook page. Tell us if there's a conversation, or maybe there's a guest you'd like for us to have. We'll do our best. I would say darndest. Oh, well, it's the internet. We'll do our darndest to get them on. I know you're like, wait, where is Nakia and where is Toya? As you know, Latoya is still on assignment, and Nakia has been feeling under the weather. So it's just me and Toya. And imagine Toya behaved today. Thank the God. Ooh, yeah. But always a Soultiful episode is brought to you by our sponsor. And who do we have today, Toya? Toya, see what I'm saying? Disobedient. Soultiful is brought to you by none other than me. KSSSolutionss. We are the resolution to the entrepreneurial advance. We provide with customer service, email management, event planning, logistics, Facebook group management, personal liaison, podcast coordinating, schedule, and social media management. You need it in your business? I've got it for you. And I've learned how to put a system together because Jennifer told me today. Yes. Jennifer, would you like to offer our viewers anything today?
Absolutely. So if you are looking to get into the online space, or you're a health and fitness coach, I have a great free gift for you. It's a training on how to create a premium one-to-one offer. So if you have some ideas, or you want to coach people or consult and you're not exactly sure how to get that started, I'm going to give you a really quick free training that you can start to create an offer that will have people begging to work with you and throwing their credit card at you. So you can get that on figuredoutfitness.lpages.co/offer. And I see it on the bottom of the screen. It's a really great training. And then, spoiler alert, you might get another free gift after that as well.
Oh, wait, we doing spoiler alerts. This is like watching the Grammys or something. Hey, spoiler alert. Well, thank you all so much. Guess what? Jennifer has a new mowed lawn outside. Yay! Well, we thank you for viewing today as we discuss how to stand out in a saturated market. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And guess what? We'll be right back next week, Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another lovely guest. We thank you for watching and viewing. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hi, and welcome to Soultiful.